A father poured the tea. A son crossed the threshold. And the heir, by all accounts, stayed away. Welcome back, friends. If you appreciate calm, grown-up royal analysis, without the noise, hit like and subscribe. Stay with me. In the next few minutes we'll unpack what really shifted at Clarence House, why Kensington isn't moving, and the one rule both sides must obey if this is ever going to work. First, the part we can say without hedging. King Charles invited Prince Harry to Clarence House. They met, quietly, briefly, deliberately. No aides beyond the indispensable, no photos, no notes for the archives. That set up matters. In a family, and an institution, where everything becomes commentary, the only way to have a real conversation is to make it look almost ordinary. Tea. A short window. A closed door. Why now? Some of this is biography. Illness focuses the mind. A sovereign, who has carried the ledger of his family for decades, knows that certain lines only get written in private. He also knows that the longer you leave a silence, the heavier it gets. A meeting doesn't erase the past, it stops the past from hardening into concrete. But shift your gaze a few miles across London and the picture changes. The Prince of Wales has not joined this early thaw. People who watch these things closely describe William as resolute, polite in public, granite in private. Not furious, finished. Daisy McAndrew said it out loud, William doesn't want anything to do with Harry, at least not yet. She called the King's tea, baby steps, then added the uncomfortable truth, William is the big problem for a broader reconciliation. Not from pettiness, from principle. Let's be honest about those principles. William's job is different from his father's. Charles can play the long game of a parent, keep the line open, set a patient tone, absorb a little risk. William plays the long game of a future king, protect the brand, protect the rules, protect the rhythm that keeps the crown useful. In that calculation, trust isn't a feeling, it's infrastructure. If leaks brought the scaffolding down, only silence, kept for a long time, builds it back up. That's why seasoned hands keep repeating one condition, and it isn't dramatic. Discretion. If anything about Clarence House leaks from the Sussex side, quotes, colour, the tiniest detail, this wobbly bridge collapses. The palace didn't object to the fact of the meeting being known, they needed the content to stay sealed. Harry's lone public line afterward, his great, thank you, was exactly the kind of harmless sentence that suggests he understands the assignment. So what is the assignment? It isn't forgiveness on cue, or a balcony tableau by Christmas. It's duller and harder. Month after month with no new wounds. Work that speaks for itself. No sources say about private rooms. No weaving family into brand. If Harry wants the family door to stay open, the story stops being told. Here's the part that stings if you're Harry, and he likely knows it. The comparison game writes itself. One brother in Kiev hospitals under the Invictus banner. One brother at Village Hall Britain pouring tea with the Women's Institute. One image looks cinematic. The other looks British. Yet outcomes aren't written by images. They are written by habits. Harry's best habit is obvious. Turn up where the hurt is and help. William's best habit is less photogenic. Make the monarchy legible at human height, over and over, until the fuss melts into familiarity. Both are necessary. Only one can be done with the volume turned up. Now the human part. Brothers don't fall out like colleagues, they break like family. Old jokes curdle, private shorthand turns to static, and the ache gets louder when the cameras leave. William did the private work of anger years ago, grief, fury, indifference, and parked the subject in a mental drawer labeled non-person, as an old royal phrase has it. Seeing Harry back at Clarence House yanks that drawer open. You can call that petty, you can also call it human. So what would actually move William? 3 quiet proofs, none of them glamorous. First, time. Not days. Seasons. A spring, a summer, a remembrance season, with 0 leaks and no side swipes. Second, service without spin. Go where you've promised to go, then let the day belong to the people you met. Third, private words that stay private. Not the grand apology of a press release, the small, exact apology you only say in a room that doesn't leak. Where does Catherine fit? Exactly where she always does, at the hinge between noise and normal. Watch her on weeks like this. Fabric choices that calm, eyelines that anchor, smiles that read as ease not performance. When she joins William on a day heavy with speculation, she turns down the temperature. That isn't optics, it's craft. She keeps the focus on the work, which is where the public keeps lending its patience. What about Charles? The late Queen taught him the power of convening instead of campaigning. He's using that now, hosting, not haranguing, opening doors, not issuing demands. He can take the first steps a father takes. He cannot make his sons take them with him. That isn't weakness. It's constitutional muscle memory. Rein within the rails and let time do some of the lifting. Is a full reconciliation likely? Not quickly, not loudly. Think instead of a demilitarized zone, cautious messages through trusted channels, occasional, carefully contained meetings, family milestones acknowledged without theatrics. The aim isn't a photo. It's the absence of new damage. There's a wider lesson here for anyone who still measures royal success by spectacle. The monarchy's real strength isn't the balcony wave. It's the quiet competence that makes the balcony wave feel inevitable. Schedules that keep their promises. Small rooms that feel seen. Guardrails that hold when headlines don't. William believes that guardrails only work if they are visible and enforced. That's why he's the brake pedal, while his father taps the accelerator. Does that make William cold? To some. To others, especially an older audience that remembers how the late Queen survived storms, it looks like stewardship. Sort it privately, speak sparingly, show up tomorrow. That credo built an improbable level of trust across 70 years. You don't throw it overboard, because a week of good photos feels tempting. For Harry, the path back into a warmer family orbit doesn't require surrendering his life in California, or the causes that give him purpose. It requires learning to live with a new kind of quiet. Not silence in public, he will always have a platform, but silence about family. He has already given the world his version. If he wants his family back, the next chapter is a blank page that stays blank. And if you want a short answer to the question everyone keeps asking, what did the tea change? Here it is. It proved contact is possible without collateral damage. It proved the king will try, gently, again. And it proved the heir won't move until discretion is a habit, not a headline. Do those truths clash? Of course. Families live with contradictions all the time. The monarchy can, too, as long as both men remember the sentence the late Queen lived by, be seen when it helps, be quiet when it heals. If this steadier red helped cut through the noise, tap like so more people who prefer signal over scandal can find it. Subscribe for the next quiet turn in this story. And tell me straight in the comments, is William right to hold the line until trust is rebuilt, season by season? Or should the heir meet his brother halfway now and set the tone? Your perspective, especially from those of you who value duty and privacy, always sharpens this conversation. Until next time, keep well, keep thoughtful, and remember, in royal life, the smallest choices are often the ones that last.